Alright, so the snow has melted off our mountain here just recently enough that they opened it for uphill traffic this last week. So I've been getting some vert, different than the flatland. I've been doing a lot of flatland running the last few months. My legs are kind of sore, so I'm getting a lot of vert. I got like, I don't know, 8,000 vert last week, over 40 miles. So it made me think about just different running, styles as relates to the terrain you're on. So this technically is a mountain running sort of activity, but I'm going to start with just the basic running is, they call it like chi running. The most simplest form is, you stand in place doing this, and then you just tip forward, and that's like pure efficiency. And I'd contend that it works because I'm 6'1", 230 pounds, and I can crank out, when I build up to it, I can do 40 to 100 mile weeks and not get injuries. So, using proper technique, I think it goes a long way. So yeah, we're starting with, this is flatland, but we got different steepness as we go, and I'll just talk through the different styles as we get through it. It's nice out here. I'm gonna work on the tan here too. A tendency, so within regular flat running, as we just get to the steeps immediately, is smaller steps. That goes, a shorter stride. I find if I'm running flat pavement for miles and miles, the second I start to feel that I'm getting fatigued or losing interest or not into it, whatever, I'll shorten my stride and just feel that chi running again and feel like you're falling forward. And I think it works here. So look, boom, not running. I could run, mountain running. Depends on how long your pitch is. Like, see my pitch? This is going a long way. So I'm not racing this right now. So you fall into this type of stride, which is essentially hiking. Look how slow my steps are, but it changes your activation muscles. Where running on the flats, you're popping off your calves and your quads, and you're keeping that springy momentum. Your momentum's carrying through, and it's about carrying the momentum. Where when you get in the steeps, I have no momentum. Boom, it's so steep I just stop. So every step is generating this new motion. So two things: you can get wicked high heart rate easily, where to get the same heart rate while running would feel more difficult. So I could be rocking a zone 4 heart rate right now, and you're like, oh, this isn't too bad. On this pitch, I can keep pep in my step, the actual runner stride. And running's all about mastering efficiency, efficient movement, and it's knowing when to change your strides depending on the conditions or the shape of the terrain. So up here changes, so my stride's gonna have to change. I can keep my running pace right to here, then it's no longer efficient to, unless we're racing. When they do this race up here, you can run stride this. I call it, it's not run stride, it's pep in your step. It's that pop, if you're popping from step to step. But now, see how steep this is. You fall into hiking, and then you get more activation from your glutes. It pushes transitions the muscle group to your glutes, a lot of it. It's like pulling. Look the way my glutes are pulling my legs back. And your calves end up just stretching and just kind of hanging out. I'm not like flexing my calf through the stride. It's just heels down, and you don't want to be high heeled. You want to be like tippy toeing up, but your heel down and efficiently pulling through your butt. Butt first, quad second, calves third. So I just pushed up that pitch, 4 low, so to speak, hiking speed, hiking stride. And one of the toughest is coming out of hike stride and flat, I gotta get back into run stride. That can be uncomfortable. I think it's easier to It's easier to drop from running into hike stride versus pull it back into running. Whew, feels good though. And I think there's two ways you can really work on your efficient form. Is going fast, like running fast. You kind of have to fall into your body biomechanically will fall into the most efficient way to do it. You know, on top of you knowing what you're doing helps. Secondary is going on tired legs. You're tired and you're like, oh geez, what's the easiest way to do this? So even just cruising, this is cruising pace. I can talk if I have to. My heart rate's up at 3.6, 3.9. Or if I was running, it would just feel like it's like a perceived effort versus the actual metric. It's really hard to hike. I'm a strong proponent of zone 2 training, like 80-20, zone 2, but it's a toss-up of gaining all the strength, because I can also sit at this heart rate for like 3-4 hours. And you know, if you're climbing a big mountain versus low heart rate, I mean, people go back and forth. I don't know, I'm not an expert. Oh, Bobo found the snow pile. The truth is, my fastest half marathon times and fastest in general, I'm in a 44 right now. I think my fastest times it's like 38 to 40. I can run faster for longer now. That's what I feel like as I'm getting older. I can run the long game at a higher rate. But my fastest flat marathon, half marathon pace, I can do a 119. I'm doing tons of hills, which is high heart rate. And then I was in Hawaii for the 6 months previous, which is automatic high heart rate in the heat. So climbing hills in the heat, I mean, you're trying to not have a heart attack. Your biggest training factor is heat stroke, basically. So it's kind of an unnatural limiter. Or a natural limiter, I don't know what you'd call it. Oh, fresh as can be. I make a habit of drinking from all the streams in the valley. Obviously up watershed's better. You know, keep that gut tough, right? So you don't have to rely on filters or whatever. So we just pulled up this steep pitch. We got this last flat pitch to our high spot. Gotta pull back into a running stride. So this is our local ski hill, Alyeska Resort. If you want to see some ski footage, go check out the run of the days. That's kind of going on around here. I feel like this is my private playground. I was on the crew, or I led the crew building all the bike trails. Then I was on the crew we did chair 4 and then chair 6 in this green building in the last 15 years or so. It's like building the playground. The next thing you need to do is punch a gondola tram to the top of the head wall. That's another subject. So our high point, 30 minutes, 1,400 feet. They don't want us going any higher right now. There's snow up there. So what do we got? We got flat running. We got moderate steep up, which are kind of different than each other. And then we got downhill. People don't like downhill in general because it's quite painful. Like if I was completely out of shape and I came and ran up the mountain hard as I could and rode the tram down, I would basically not be sore, because the soreness is coming out of the pounding, you know, just breaking apart the muscles. So you would probably be maybe a little sore if you were just straight off the couch. But on the other hand, you could be in super good shape running just pure flats all the time, and then if you were to come run downhill with any sort of vigor, you would just destroy yourself and not be able to walk. So people misinterpret that soreness for inherent knee damage or whatever, but I am a contender, it's just muscle mass. You got to have the muscles in the right place to keep the knee tracking, because it's all just, your muscles aren't there, your patella is going to be flopping all over the place, danging shit up. So anyway, I'm not even running, I'm just sitting here talking. But the running downhill, it's just this. Small steps and just focusing it straight to your quads. And it's all about small steps. You can't, you know, if you were racing or something, try to open it up, you know, you're quickly gonna fall on your face. It's all about just leaning back, staying vertical, and keeping the small steps going. And like I said, I'm 44. I've been running up and down mountains for 30 years now, and I've experienced all the various ways to be sore, and this is the best I got. And it's also starting the season slowly and doing little downs. So like early on, a couple weeks ago, I was running the lower mountain, you know, 300-400 foot vert, up down, boom, that's it. And now I'm pushing up to 1400 foot vert, and I'm not sore at all afterwards. But here this next week, basically the snow's melting. These mountains are all in the 3,000 to 6,000 foot range. You can get to where you're running downhill for 5,000 feet and you're just fine. It's not usually that pleasant, but you gotta work into it. Sure is nice out here, huh? It's getting a bit steeper down here, and you just really got to watch your step. When you're stepping upwards, you know, you're basically placing your feet and applying the weight more securely, you could say. We're going downhill, there's a bit of dynamic chaos going on. Or you can like kick a rock and kick it out under your other foot, or kick it into your foot, or whatever. Just don't want to get hurt out here. And if you roll off the steeps, you're back into the less steep, you're still going down. Now, I honestly think most of your run soreness comes out of running down medium steep terrain, because you can really open your legs up, and it might feel easier than the steeper stuff, but I think physically speaking, physiologically speaking, you're adding more pounds onto your legs. Maybe not, I don't know, this feels great actually. But you really do want to set intention into straight, you know, hips over knees over ankles, not be flailing your lower legs around. Right, thanks for watching. That was a nice 50-minute lap from Bert, from Sunshine. I got another video coming out here pretty quick on rhabdomyolysis, speaking of running downhill and messing things up. Thanks for watching. Check that one out.